Not. Come on, button.
Are we live? Hello, everyone? Maybe? Welcome
I'm not sure.
to
Are
the
we?
Blind
We
Wave
are.
podcast.
Hi, everybody.
Welcome to the Blind Wave
back.
Podcast.
We're back, and we are going to be ranking more shows.
Oh, yeah.
Eric's favorite time of the year.
I suck it up for you, the viewer. But yes, we did kill Calvin. I'm sorry. I had to take my rage out on someone.
Is that what happened?
It's the only way I can bring myself to rank.
So now we won't have any ties, guys. That's the good news.
Yeah.
Yep. I see people in the chat have been arguing about ranking. Ranking does.
Ah. Discuss the things
And
you
that's
love
why
and
it
why
gets
they're
so much
good.
engagement.
I'm excited for today.
Okay.
There's some shows on here that have changed for me in drastic ways.
I like
Sure.
to hear about that.
So most of what we're doing today is going to be revisiting shows that we've already ranked or that we held off on ranking, but we have seen more of.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it may increase or decrease the shows based on that.
Yeah.
So
I've seen one more episode of Severance, so I'd like to increase that.
We can't we can't rank anything in A. It's full.
Yeah, A is pretty full.
if we want to put anything in there, we have to take something else out.
take a few things down a little more.
I have to.
I need
We'll
to
see.
switch mon-
I could move some stuff maybe.
Alrighty.
Well, like Prison Break over here. Is that all of Prison Break, or is that just that last season that we reacted to?
I was gonna say I don't even remember Prison Break.
Prison
but
Break,
yeah.
I mean, wasn't that just like, yeah, that was like the last season or whatever, right?
Yeah, they had that one reboot season. They pulled the
Was
heroes.
that a season or a TV show?
Huh?
Wasn't just a new season that was, or a new TV show?
It was like Heroes,
It's like Heroes.
right?
Like
When Heroes came back and they did the
Reforged.
Heroes Reborn or whatever.
Dexter New Blood. I get you. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that one might. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway,
Jorge Aguilar on YouTube with a super chat though said, "Have you watched Scrubs? It's one of the best shows. It would be S tier."
I have seen all
I have.
Scrubs. Well, I stopped in the middle of the last season.
I think I did too,
I have not seen Scrubs.
that last season's pretty rough, but
but I watched the rest of it.
I can't do this all
On my own.
I've seen like
I'm no
an
Superman.
episode maybe.
I was gonna say Reverick said Eagle. I've referenced that at different times where we're
Yeah.
doing something in reaction. I just go Eagle.
there's an episode of Scrubs that they talk about like, man, I wish every time I made a mistake there'd be like an opera singer saying like they're going mistake. That's been in my head forever, my entire
Yeah.
life.
Although
I do that to myself all the
we
time.
did see one of those guys at a convention, didn't we?
Yeah, we saw
Donald Faison?
Turk.
Donald
Yeah.
Faison.
Donald Faison, who we had no idea was that year going to be in Star Wars. He's in Resistance.
He is
Mm-hmm.
He's a
as
Rodian.
Faison,
Faison, yeah.
right? Faison's still his name in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, we need to get into some stuff.
do.
We're a little behind.
We're behind.
So let's get into our re-ranks, which are going alphabetical. And our first one is Arcane, which we've now seen, I believe, the last of Arcane. I
Yeah,
think that
2
we've seen all of
seasons
it.
of Arcane.
Yep.
Arcane is already an S,
Um,
correct?
I believe so. It's right there, bottom left of S.
Yes.
I will say the second season was really good.
Yep.
I liked a lot of the story beats.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I think it works well for people who are familiar and not familiar with the like the game and the lore of that.
I can say non-familiar, sure.
and you
I
enjoyed
loved
it,
it.
right? Being not familiar with anything.
And I would say there's nothing in season 2 that makes me go like, wish they wouldn't have done that. That
Yeah.
was an awesome and emotional, you know?
Really
Yeah.
good.
I'm perfectly fine keeping it where it is.
No, it was never a question for me. It stays.
I have no issue with it being an S. So leave it there.
All right. Easy.
All right. Next up we have is Black Sail. Wait, do we have more Black Sails? Do we watch more Black Sails?
Well, we don't have more black sails, but we have more opinions.
Oh. Whose opinions do we have?
Jake has an opinion. I also have Jancy's opinion here too. And just know that if you were to knock it out of S, you're fired.
What?
I came in planning to like joke that it should move out of S.
Yeah.
It's so good I can't even make a joke.
It's
that it
inappropriate
moved.
to joke
Yeah,
about.
it's like it's disrespectful to make the joke. It's that good.
It's that good. Yeah. Yeah. We're in our rewatch. We're finishing up season 3, about ready to get into season 4, the final season.
So that
It's
means that
just-
next year we're gonna have to rank this again.
Yep. I know.
And then watch Muppet Treasure Island.
Ah!
I
And
do
Treasure Planet.
want to see that.
And Treasure Planet.
I've never seen
That'd be
Treasure
good.
Planet.
I have.
Muppet Treasure Island's so much fun.
It is. I love it.
All right. So where do we put Black Sails in?
Stays in S.
All right.
Eric, anything else with you there from?
I'm just
Finding-
looking where I had my message from last time. I
Uh-huh.
can't remember if I had it on Teams or if on
All right.
text.
Well,
It
while you
was
look at that, I
on
want to say
Teams.
thank you so much, Dale Cog and Thaddeus J. Spider for the resubs using their Prime on Twitch.
Thank
Really
you so much.
appreciate it. Don't forget, if you do have Prime, you can subscribe to your favorite Twitch streamers.
Yep.
You can just do that.
Yeah.
Also, Lewis Newman with a super chat. Would you ever watch a classic British sitcom together again, like Blackadder, Only Fools and Horses, or Vicar of Dibley? What?
We already have. Well, I mean, it's not super super old, but Faulty Towers. We did a reaction to that.
I think I might be what they're referring to by watching a classic British sitcom again.
Yeah,
but
I would
don't
love
know.
to do Blackadder. 'cause
I
have not
would
seen
love
that.
to take these guys through Blackadder
Is
as
it-
well.
I mean, Faulty Towers was one of the things I had no idea what I was missing
It was so good
in my
right?
life.
It's
Yeah.
so
And
fun.
now I can realize the hole that was in my life and
Mm-hmm.
fulfilled. So if there's more of that from the UK, yes, please.
Oh, there's plenty more.
I'm not against it. I just don't know what I don't know.
I get you. Jancy said Black Sails. S, no explanation needed.
Okay, so everyone just says S then?
S, yes.
Okay,
Hmm.
so we leave it there.
Cool.
We'll see what happens next year.
All right, well, the next one up then is Cobra Kai. Now, we have watched almost all of it. There is
Yeah.
still 5 episodes,
5
so
more
when we're done with this, we will have to rank it on its whole when we
Yep.
get there. But,
Cobra Kai
Calvin,
has...
you don't get to vote in this one.
You don't.
Sorry.
Nope.
Cobra Kai
You're
had one of
lucky.
my favorite moments of reacting ever.
2.
And I was going to say, like, it's had one of my favorites, and then it did the same moment again.
Well,
and
okay.
a toast, to Cobra Kai. I can't believe they did it again.
So this season had 2 of my favorite reaction moments. One involved the hot tub, which is what you're thinking.
The
of.
hot tub is the one I'm thinking of.
But the other one was on the stage. Because
Yes.
it was just so unexpected.
It's very unexpected.
Like, to be real,
Uh-huh.
Cobra Kai does not hang with most of these shows up in S. It has real flaws, but I don't care.
Okay. All right, good. I'm glad. I'm glad that you've seen things my way with that final thing.
My heart has loved few things more than it loves Cobra Kai.
I'm so happy you said that. I think people trying to give me an objective list is some of the most boring thing you could possibly do. I only want to hear about your heart. And that's why I agree.
I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
Yeah.
I think it's perfect.
It's silly.
It's great. I love to watch it and have a good time.
It shouldn't
and
happen.
have so much fun with it.
The
You know?
melodrama stuff spins
Yeah.
its wheels too much, too often. Like people come together and fall apart.
But
and
that is a teen show too.
I understand.
Like that's the flavor.
Exactly.
It is part of the reason I love it.
Yep.
But I still see it as a flaw.
I'm sad.
It's not a flaw. It's a feature.
No, I mean, it's intended. It's doing exactly as it's intended. It's a sequel series to a flawed
Sure. Yes.
teenage karate movie.
Yes, Karate
a coming
Kid
of age.
is not the best movie
Yeah.
ever made. Cobra Kai is not the best TV show ever made, but it is some of the most hype I've ever been.
Yep. It's some of the best time I've ever had watching something, and that's more important than its quality.
Mhm. I'm sticking with S.
I love how you're making fun of the people who
I
are
am.
saying that it's
I am.
low or
Because-
high quality.
because-
It's just what you like.
Yeah, that's what it is.
I do like it.
Yeah.
I enjoy it. I think the fighting is so much fun, and I've never whenever we've talked about it being like, this is a karate soap opera, I'm like, you know what? It is. And it's so much fun and I love it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I say keep it an S.
S.
I just make sure, Eric.
I
You,
mean,
you didn't give me a letter. I was
Anybody
sure.
that would say otherwise deserves a roundhouse kick
Calvin.
or a crane kick.
You said I couldn't vote. Otherwise, I would revenge your vote. An F.
At this point, too, I'm so excited to see what they do with that new movie coming.
I'm very intrigued, yeah. But I do need to, I don't know, I feel like I need to say goodbye to Cobra Kai first before I can let it into my heart. And that's going to be happening soon. 5 more episodes.
5 more episodes. All right. Let's move on to the next one then. Next one we have is Ted Lasso. We have finished Ted Lasso now.
We
at this
have
point.
finished Ted
Yep.
Lasso.
We hadn't before. We have it in S.
What's wrong with that?
That's just where we left it before we finished the show. Now that we've finished it, what do you guys think about that?
I don't think anything in the final seasons knocks that out for me, except that one shot of the wedding. Granted, they filmed it during COVID, but man, the compositing of that's a flaw.
That's a flaw.
They did not intend it to look that bad.
Well, it didn't intend a global pandemic either.
No, of course not. Yeah, and that honestly wouldn't stop me from anything with it. Very funny show, but also it's kind of like The Bear, where like you think, oh, I'm gonna have a good time laughing, and instead you have a good time crying.
There's still quite a few more laughs in.
Oh no, there are definitely some very big ones, and some like really well-defined, unique characters that I really enjoyed.
Yeah, I think it's it's got a lot of wholesome moments, but also has some deep themes that I really like between like dealing with anxieties and stress and
Not often themes
revenge
and not often themes that you get in sports movies and television.
Sure.
You know,
I suppose some of them, yeah, for sure.
some,
Yeah.
but not all.
Yeah. I don't know. I think I'd leave it an S. I think it was a really good show. I think I liked it from beginning to end. And I think it ended fairly well.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I have no issue leaving it an S. All agreed?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Moving on to the
Oh,
next.
we need a gavel.
I know.
Damn it.
We have
Yes,
one.
it is.
I might. Is it near my desk?
We have a
Might be.
squeaky.
Was
All
at
right.
one point.
Jumping into tier A, our first up is Ben 10 Alien Force. So last time we watched it, we put it in an A. Ben 10, we put in C.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We were in the, I think, second of 3 seasons
Oh.
for Alien Force when we watched it. Now
Yeah.
we've finished all of Alien Force.
Was season 3 was the one
Season 3 was the one that sucked.
that
Yeah. it really fell.
Season 1 and 2, we were like, man, this feels good.
I was so
We
happy
built
with
up.
season 1 and 2.
It doesn't feel like the status quo resets all the time.
I know.
Yeah.
They
It's
just
team building.
They just turned their back on Ben and let him go backwards. Why?
And then season 3 came out, and then they were like, you know what, Ben 10, the growth he had, don't worry about that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, that sucks. I really think season 3 brought it down.
I
from,
do too.
From seasons 1 and 2 that I enjoyed. So
I
much.
wouldn't.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a third of the show, so I think I agree. But
But it's the
we
last
have Ben-
third.
we have
if
the
it were the
first
first
Ben
third, it would be
10
okay.
I definitely believe the Ben 10 Alien Force to be more aligned with what I like to watch with my cartoons. So I would it's still above the original Ben 10 for me. So I'd be comfortable moving it to B if we want to. Makes room in A.
I think I'd like to at least drop it to B.
Yeah.
The first 2 seasons, I get what Calvin's saying, though. If the third season was first and we were dealing with
Yeah.
a lot of like, oh, he's
Fair.
still very much like he is there.
Yeah.
I don't
Fair.
know. And we kind of grow into seasons 1 and 2 and him like becoming a hero and a leader and like the team like working together. But I think that last season, instead of it being there, it felt like all
it
the stuff
completely
we built up and
undercut
worked-
everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I hate that.
It showed us how good it could be, and then they showed us what they wanted to show us, not what we wanted to see. You know.
Yeah.
I don't know. It felt so easy to get it right after they had got it right for so long, and it felt like such a conscious decision to change the characters back to what they were from a previous show. It just makes me sad.
Sure. But like I think like Eric said, and maybe even similar to like Game of Thrones, like I know the ending soured a lot of people on it. but like there's still so much good there, especially in the early days and the way
Sure.
the story played out. And I know Rick may disagree with that, but I think there's a lot of really good story and aspects in at least the earlier part of Game of Thrones, and then the later part they kind of like maybe we should have spent a little bit more time doing this or that.
I kind of feel the same way about Alien Force as I do Young Justice,
Okay.
where like the first couple seasons felt like really good and concise and everything like that, but then later on it just kind of
I get
went
what you
mushy,
mean.
you know?
Like Young Justice,
Like, it didn't have much structure.
It did a thing that like, I wouldn't have liked that to happen, but I can understand why some others would. I don't. Are there any people out there that like love that Ben returned? You know, to how he was. Like, how many people loved that Dragon Ball GT? It's like, we're gonna make Goku a kid again. You know, I don't know how many people that loved that. I kind of feel the same way with Ben 10. Not that I say he wasn't a kid; he was just.
People seem to like Daima though.
Oh yeah, and people are really liking him. Apparently, I'm needing to get into that. Cancel the podcast.
What?
Let's go watch it, Jake.
Hang on, wait. We gotta finish this. I'd probably say B is good for me.
Same.
I think the first 2 seasons are a lot of fun, and I enjoyed both of those more than I did the Ben 10.
Yeah.
Even if it's like a matter of building it on Ben 10.
Yeah.
Maybe even kind of like Naruto, where like I like Naruto, but Shippuden I like more. But that's probably also building it off of Naruto. You know what I mean? But yeah, just that last season, I'm like, if they would have landed that last season, I would have just said like leave it an A.
B for Ben.
I
And
would go
excitingly, that opens up another spot for A, in case we need it.
Oh,
Maybe next year it'll be Ben 10 Ultimate Alien.
So, that could be. So
You
thank
never
you,
know.
Ben 10 Alien Force, for your sacrifice.
Yeah, thank you so much.
All right, let's move on to the next one. Staying in B's, Bridgerton. Well, we're staying in A, but going to B. Anyway, Bridgerton's
Gotcha.
next.
The new the Colin and Penny season of Bridgerton.
Aye.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which was
Very good.
Spicy.
spicy, baby.
I mean, I feel like every season has been getting spicier and spicier.
I would probably agree with that.
No, but I really enjoyed it.
Still no Duke.
For losing the Duke, I feel like I still quite like the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially I think this season. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't think I have any issues, anything that's taken away. There's the story they went with.
Very
Whistle
curious
Down.
for next season.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think it stays in A. Like,
Yeah, agreed.
I would agree.
I really enjoyed last season.
Yeah.
There will be no moving of Bridgerton.
All right.
But I don't think last season was as good as Queen Charlotte.
Agreed.
All right. Next one then. I will not be voting on. This is Demon Slayer.
Hmm.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I have
Demon
watched
Slayer.
none of this.
Where do we currently have it in A?
It's currently an
currently
A.
I'd keep it in A, I think. I mean, this season, Calvin, the one that we watched, it was very much kind of a...
It was a part 1 season.
it felt like it, sure, yeah. It felt like, hey, a lot of stuff has happened, and we need to, it was a training arc.
It was a training arc, but the beginning of that season.
Uh-huh.
Oh
and
my
the
god.
end.
And the end.
Yeah. The Hashira Avengers was amazing. Maybe nothing compares to Muzan's walk, though.
Yeah.
That man
Oh, that
walking
was-
for 7 minutes was some of the best 7 minutes of last year. So I wouldn't push it up to S, but I would keep it
No, I wouldn't put
comfortably
it in S either. I would leave it where it's at. I'm not liking it any more, and I'm not liking it any less. I don't think.
Okay.
So, I would leave it in A.
Yep, agreed.
All right.
Some people are experiencing audio issues, but some people aren't.
Yeah, I see it mainly from YouTube and maybe not from Twitch. Audio's fine. Wonky on our end.
Refresh for audio fix. Thank you, guys. Try to do a refresh. We will pause as you hit F5.
Calvin's always kind of loud, Patrick.
I will just say that Demon Slayer continues to be an E for me.
Well, you
Well-
stopped watching it, so you don't get a vote.
You haven't watched it. If you watch more, I would listen.
Yeah.
You must earn your vote.
I must suffer in order to vote. I
Yeah. Like, you got to live in this country.
How did we manage to get it in A? Did we push it up to S just to counteract Rick?
I think so.
I think I withdrew my rating last time.
Okay, good. Okay, gotcha.
The honorable option.
Yep.
Since we were going to just backstab you anyway with our overranking.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then let's go on to the next one. Rick, you get to vote in this one. Dr. Stone,
Oh, baby.
which is currently in A,
I
and we've watched at least another
cannot
season.
recall ever being more excited at a season finale than I was at this season finale.
Mm-hmm.
I am so excited for next season. But as a season, I don't think it was like noticeably better or worse than previous seasons.
Sure.
It's just kind of is Dr. Stone, and I love Dr. Stone.
Agreed. Dr. Stone, like, it changes up its status quo in a fun way, but still has the identity of the same.
Like, the show itself is building its own foundation for being a different show. You know, it started out being like survival and clan warfare and stuff like that, and now it's like, okay, now these nations are fighting each other.
I think it did show its strength as a show by removing most of the characters this season for most of the season.
I understand. Yeah.
And being able to introduce new characters and having those characters like be likable, and you're not missing.
You're right. Like, shows like Lost would do that, and it's like, well, we only have 40 people on an island. What do we do? You know, it's like we got to find a way to get new characters, and sometimes it can feel a little more righty than not. But Dr. Stone never felt that way for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now it also was one of the shows from this year that like didn't release a whole season at once. It did like parts.
Yeah,
sure.
Which I feel like is just becoming more like
More the norm.
More the norm.
But yeah, it stays an A for me.
I think it's not usually a show where I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't wait.
Yeah.
But every time I watch it, I always enjoy it and have fun with the characters, and you know, all
I
that
need
kind of
Dr.
stuff.
Stone now more than ever.
Sure. Yeah.
I need my faith in humanity restored.
Yep.
The only way that Dr. Stone can.
I agree with you.
What were
10
we-
billion%.
Yeah. What were we watching the other day that someone said 10 billion? I went 10 billion%. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah, I can't remember.
I don't remember.
I love it.
But yeah, I'm fine with leaving an A.
Me too. It hasn't quite pushed it up there to an S yet for me, but it's a high A.
Yes.
Yep.
All right, so A it is.
The A's stays.
All right, next up, and I don't know where I want to rank this one. This is for House of the Dragon.
Ooh. Okay. I greatly enjoy House of the Dragon. Honestly, we have that there. Okay.
Currently in A.
Yeah. We had season 2.
Mm-hmm.
Much more house, much more dragon.
There
Yes.
was much more dragon. That's true.
Yeah.
I felt kind of Matt Smith's story in that was a little like kind of just
It was a lot of like I'm standing here in hall and
we
looking
didn't
at,
go
looking
much
at
with
rain.
him.
I get you.
I'm hoping that like we go from there and it builds up more and stuff. But I think everything else besides the Matt Smith stuff, which sucks because I think Matt Smith I liked a lot in like the previous season.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And this one I felt like he was just kind of like, well, you're stuck here, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah. It felt like there were like 3 chapters of a book that were dealing with other characters, but because it's a TV show, they have to keep showing him.
I get what you mean.
They could have like not shown so much of that stuff and just had like the wrap up stuff, but
I love the stuff in the dragon cavern pit.
oh,
You know, and
Yeah.
the new riders and what it did for some of the you know, I think season 1 I won't say suffered, but it had a revolving cast because of the nature of its time, you know, skips, and we had less of that or almost none of it this time.
yeah.
So there's nothing about that's changed the ranking for me.
No, I think I'd leave it an A. Like I think while like I like the general story for Matt over in the stuff he was doing, I just felt like I don't know, it took a long time.
Yeah.
It felt like it
If it made
showed it
sense.
like, I don't know. It showed more of what it was trying to show than it had to tell me what was going on with him.
Maybe.
Mhm.
It just felt like it was spinning its wheels a little bit. Maybe that's the feeling that I was getting.
I mean, I've read Fire and Blood, so I kind of know where things are going. But I did kind of feel like where it chose to end the season was a little like, oh, okay, well, when season 3 comes back, I'll watch that. But it wasn't like a, sometimes finales are just, oh, you cannot wait to watch the next one.
Oh yeah,
All right, so leave an A.
Yeah.
I'm okay with
All
that.
good.
Yeah.
All right. Next up we have Jujutsu Kaisen.
Oh,
Baby. Yeah,
I'm
you
gonna
watched
stand
that.
up for this one.
That's a new one.
Jujutsu Kaisen. Rick, you weren't in this.
Nope, but I've seen it all.
Rick has seen it all.
Yeah.
And he must stand. I'll start by saying, like, I greatly enjoyed it, but I had to rewatch the first 5 or 6 episodes just as a personal thing. When that was coming out was like right when a lot of health/family stuff happened for me, and I feel like I let that show down while that was happening. Watching it the second time, I definitely enjoyed it a lot more, and it was easier for me to understand.
Well, yeah, sure. Watching it
Yeah.
with the knowledge again,
Yeah.
right? Like, I think that helps.
Yeah.
So,
And with subtitles. You guys didn't have subtitles the first time around, right?
It
I
was
do not
rough.
believe we did,
Yeah.
no.
The
Yeah.
inconsistency of providing subtitles made that suffer for me the first time too. Yep.
I loved especially all the action in it. I love that bathroom fight a lot.
Oh yeah, the whole train station, like
Oh, yeah.
the tunnels and everything, all that
that
amazing.
that old man that I didn't really know. But,
Yeah.
man, this guy's pretty cool though. Like, there's a lot of real cool stuff. Like, we were into like the heart of like. There's gonna be some story, but we also have to dive into some like real cool like battling and stuff too, which was real sweet to have.
But it hits others in different ways. And Rick, you weren't watching, so you have an opportunity to talk about how you felt about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I watched Hidden Inventory like 5 times in a row.
I believe. Yep.
10 out of 10. It's one of the best arcs in anime/manga. Just absolutely incredible.
Did you read the manga too?
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool.
Yep. Yeah, I just absolutely love the anytime characters are a personification of an ideology,
Mm-hmm.
and I especially love it when that switches at some point. And
Oh yeah, sure.
I really loved how Hidden Inventory handled that. And I think the Shibuya incident is 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
I think it's one of the best arcs in battle anime.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
It's awesome.
Yeah, just absolutely incredible season. Like, I really, really like season 1. Season 2 was just on an entirely different level.
Yeah.
So it's an easy S for me.
Yeah, I think the story and stuff for it was really good. I know that putting together where we were in the beginning to getting to where we were by the later part of the season, like, eventually I feel like I got an understanding of it all.
Mm-hmm.
But just getting new characters and I think stuff, like Eric and I had a little bit of struggle there, but I loved, there's one character that I really loved and then I don't think he's there anymore. And I was like, well, dang, man,
Yeah.
that guy was real cool. And I wanted to see him more.
Yeah.
And he was so unique in the very beginning part, But I love that it introduced someone and then made me wanting more.
Yeah.
While making him a villain, I think, kind of not.
Sure.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was really, I don't know. I think it was written really well with that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and and forgive me, like in comparison to something like Demon Slayer, where it's like there's story and then there's animation.
Yeah.
Jujutsu Kaisen is like animation and story.
Yep.
Yeah, sure.
So I also want to say, like, it kept its consistency of animation for me, which I think can be tough, especially when something gets like really popular, and then it's like, all right, well, let's put out more as quick as we can, And I
Yeah.
don't feel like it suffered from
I
that.
do hope at some point we get like a Gurren Lagann situation, because
Yeah.
there's some stuff in the manga that did not make it into season 2.
Gotcha.
So I hope there's like a director's cut or something at some point. Because as good as it was, I think it could have been even better.
Sure. Yeah.
But I don't know. I think I enjoyed it a lot. I talked with Leon about it. Leon's fallen into Jujutsu Kaisen,
Nice.
talking about it more and stuff too. I I don't know, Rick. I think I would agree that I'd put it at S.
Same. I can see right where it goes.
I think story-wise, I think the fights and stuff, like I think all of it was really, really a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to the next one. Like, I want to see what happens next, you know?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay.
I am for.
I'm just gonna leave it at an A for myself, but yeah, no, I'm okay with it moving up for your guys' enjoyment.
I knew Jake had words too.
Oh, I was just gonna if it wasn't gonna move up to S, I was gonna try and invoke employee something to help move it to S.
Yeah.
So
Well, it sounds like all you gotta do is take out Calvin. It's unanimous.
I mean, I'll just put in like a 10% bump.
10% bump.
me.
Okay.
So we'll put it that goes in S with
That goes
3
in
S's
S.
from you.
If it makes you feel better, if you want to move something so it's a little higher, you feel free.
Oh, it's alphabetical. I
Oh,
can't.
damn it is. You're right.
All right. We're all good on Jiu-Jitsu?
Yep.
All
Yes,
right.
sir.
Next up then on the list is My Hero Academia.
I gotta remember everything that happened last season of My Hero Academia.
Well, I
oh
almost
yeah.
stopped watching it.
Yeah.
Oh, man, it hurts. This, I think this for me is like my Dragon Ball Z. Like I didn't grow up with Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, this is your childhood anime.
Yeah, this is like my childhood. Shonen? Is that what they call it,
Yeah.
right?
And especially because
Showing
your
jump.
children
Yeah,
watch
my
it with
kids,
you.
I watch with my kids, and they really enjoyed it. So like I think sometimes the feelings that you guys have with like Dragon Ball,
Yeah.
where you're like, when I look at it and I'm like, but they scream for so long. Yeah, I know it's so good,
I
isn't it?
know.
And I'm like, I
You don't
guess
understand.
so.
The power comes from the breath, man.
But I think like a lot of this hits those notes for me,
Yeah.
where I'm like, I enjoy the story and the hero and overcoming these challenges and like keep pushing past limits and stuff. And the last season, I've really enjoyed, and we're really hitting like a climax, and we're so close to the end that
We're
it's
very
been
close
so
to the
much
end.
fun. And I love getting people showing up that I wasn't expecting to have show up in like these battles and things that are going on. So for me, I would put it in S.
If I remember correctly, we had it in S and moved it last time, right?
Maybe.
I don't
Am I
know.
right about that?
I had it in C last year.
I think that's
Yeah.
why.
but didn't we have it much higher, I thought, and then we changed it last time? I can't remember. But either way, I mean, Aaron just evoked Dragon Ball Z. You know, like, I have nostalgia and rose-colored glasses whenever I look at that series, rewatching it, especially rewatching early Dragon Ball. I can be like, whoa, I can't believe they got away with this stuff, you know? But with My Hero, it's not that for me. It's not a childhood anime. But I've had many great times with it. But Armored All Might was was a Super Saiyan moment for me. Not because of like how hype it was, but how emotional it made me.
Yep.
And because of that, I will not lower. But I'll fight to keep it where it is, I think.
Yeah, the season was a roller coaster. Like, it had some really awesome moments in it, and it had some moments that almost made me stop watching it.
Sure, I understand.
In the most recent season?
Yeah, right?
I mean, it's after the Lone Deku one, if that's what you mean.
Well,
This one was the pretty much battle the entire season.
specifically what happened with Bakugo. That was this season, right?
That was, and as of right now, we don't know what's happened with him.
But yeah, that moment in particular almost dropped it to D for me. But there were a lot of really good stuff in this season. Like Aaron said, I liked some of the returning characters, how it sort of like shows the potential of the ensemble. So it stays in C for me. But I do want to see how it ends, which is why I'm still watching it.
Okay. Calvin, did you say anything?
I haven't yet.
I think so. Eric said just keep it an A.
I want to keep it the same. You want to go up to S. He wants to go down one.
He wants to go to C.
Well, down one from where he had it.
No,
On your
no,
personal-
he's-
no.
he's keeping it in C.
It
Okay.
almost went down
Okay.
because of Bakugo,
Gotcha.
but then it rebounded
Gotcha.
back up to C.
Yeah. So what do you think, Aaron?
I'm on an S. That's what I said before. Like I've enjoyed it. I think the problem Rick has with it is like I had the same kind of problem, and I understand it when we had a thing in Naruto. But this one, I feel like if they're going in the same direction, is earned and there's a sacrifice involved in what's going on.
Yeah.
Whereas before I was like, they tugged on this for me and then just swept the rug out and then was like, no, you idiot, you were wrong.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
it seems so intentional.
yeah, but this I don't feel like is doing that.
Yeah.
And everything in this season, I think has been some of my favorite story elements. Some character development has been really good.
Yep.
I loved what they've done with the Todoroki, family, right? I think. Right. And just like the combinations of like heroes and students and all of that we've gotten to see, like doing their battles and fighting and doing everything they can, like has been so much fun.
Yeah.
And like I said, I really enjoyed it. I haven't even watched it with the kids yet to see what they think of everything. But like Eric said too, the armor, I want to see what happens.
Yeah.
I want the next one.
Whenever a show can take something like that is iconic, like, I am here, that's iconic because All Might is this ideal to strive for that all the kids are rushing for. And then when they turn that on the head and All Might is rushing towards the kids, but he gets to say, there's no way this guy will ignore me because I am here.
It's so cool. And it just, like, we'll talk about it later, but it's crazy to me that Naruto threw that away.
Sure.
With its catchphrase.
I know. But we keep it alive
We do.
when we watch.
Yeah. We have to.
We have to. There's so many appropriate moments for Believe It. We'll talk about Naruto.
Yeah. I mean, this season has really pushed up my enjoyment of it. Just the stakes feel higher. The action is crazier. The characters are I don't know, more cemented. It's probably goes up a rank for me as well. To S.
So you're at S?
Yeah.
So S, A, and C?
Yep.
What's that average to? Is that average to A still?
Averages to A. Also, are we doing polls still this time? We haven't. Okay.
All right. So it just stays there. Just Rick. All right.
I win.
All right.
I won ranking.
I'll move on to the next one. Next one we have is Naruto Shippuden. So
I mean,
which I will withdraw my rank from this one.
okay.
Okay.
I don't remember when you fell out.
It was in the 80s, so
1987.
Were you even
Last
born
time
then?
I watched
I wasn't even born yet.
It wasn't even airing then.
so you guys have seen more Shippuden than
Have we?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, we've seen more
we've
Shippuden
seen-
than you have of Naruto.
Yeah.
You've
You know,
seen-
when I was
Right.
when I was a kid and I first started going to anime conventions and I'd be like, I'm the Dragon Ball Z champion, there'd be a Naruto kid. I'm like, I don't get it. I don't understand why. Now I get it. I get it now. I've seen it. I felt it. I believe it.
Wish I had an Akatsuki robe.
I know,
I could
yeah.
just be standing back here.
Standing behind
yeah.
him on his
Yeah.
camera.
Uh-huh.
I was at Dunham's the other day, and at the checkout counter working there, he had an
Akatsuki?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Like a full robe, or
Yep. It
Wow.
wasn't even like Halloween or anything.
Dunham's, that's
He was
awesome.
just rocking it.
Only one?
hell yeah.
Only one.
They usually go in
You-
pairs.
well, they're ninjas. You don't see the others.
I suppose. Yeah, it was there. You just couldn't see it.
Yeah. No, I think with everything that's happened, honestly, Rick, since like the next episode after you stopped watching, it got so damn good.
It would have had to have gotten better, I imagine, because it couldn't have gotten much worse.
Oh my gosh. It's springboarded off of, yeah, sure. No, it's S for me.
I mean, the most recent arc that we went through, and even like, I think we're in like a kind of filler section or whatever that people talk about or whatever. But I've been enjoying it as well.
No, I
Like,
love this. Yeah.
it's like giving me a chance to like look back on Naruto.
Yeah.
After having so much that he's gone through, and
Yeah.
being able to like appreciate it even more. Like if
Yeah.
I watch Naruto now, with like the story that we've just had, I think it kind of recolors that a little
yeah.
bit.
Oh, yeah.
And you get a different experience, which is probably why so many people are like, "Oh man, Naruto's so good." And then when you first watch it, you're like, "I don't know, there's a lot of this and a lot of that, and I guess it's okay." But like, it just builds, you know. And I've enjoyed.
Yeah, and I
so
think
much of
if we had, like, if we learned the stuff that we know now back then, I don't think it would be as impactful. One, like what we're learning now, and also like everything that we know that he did back then too. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
I think I get you. I think.
Like they told it at the correct time for the most amount of impact.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
I just feel like, how long have we been watching this kid?
I mean,
4 years?
5 years.
I think it's getting
That
close
long?
on 5 years,
Might be.
Yeah.
which is like longer than like most teachers have with students in high school. You know, like I love watching that character's growth and how what my expectations of him were, to the point where he was exceeding those expectations, and now I don't know where he can go. Is where I expect. You know, I like I said, I understand why people put this in the same realm of like, no, this was me when I was young, and I say like, this is me as I'm old. Yeah, I love it, man. I love that show, and I love that the intro we're currently on. I hope it never changes.
I miss the egg though.
Yeah,
I know, yeah.
Egg was pretty good.
I'd like to leave it at least A for me.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about putting it into S. I think that Naruto Shippuden, as opposed to Naruto, in the ways they've done the flashbacks and the fillers and the different things that we've seen so far, I think I've enjoyed more than what Naruto did. Like I think
100%.
Shippuden does those when it's like, hey, remember these from Naruto?
Yeah.
As opposed to Naruto would be like, hey, remember this from this episode? I'm like, yes, I just watched it, you know?
Like every time they say a character's name, they flash back to that character's introduction and their entire arc up to this point.
Yeah, and sometimes I'm like, I don't need all that. Whereas like Shippuden feels like it's doing it to make sure I remember, not to like, it doesn't feel like it's padding. You know what I mean?
No, absolutely.
So I enjoyed it quite a bit. So I'm tempted to put it in S for me right now, but I don't know where it goes later. So maybe I could put it in S and then decide where it goes once we're done with it.
I understand.
In the future, you know?
Like if it doesn't end up in S, there at least was a moment where you did put it there.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, this
And
is
it's
a
right
living
now
document.
after this last arc we just watched, you know?
It's not a finished
Yeah.
document; it's a
No,
living document. It's so hard for me to put, especially like if I look at all the S's right now, like none of those are long-running shows. Really, it's hard for long-running shows to go an S for me, just because just by nature of how much there is. Some of it's not going to hit with me.
Hunter x Hunter's pretty long.
Yeah, but it's real.
Attack on Titan's pretty long too.
Sure, none of them are hundreds of episodes, but
Was
I
Hunter
understand
Hunter?
what you mean. Huh?
Was Hunter x Hunter hundreds?
It was
Hundreds?
88,
No.
right?
No, it was like 130.
It was 100 and something.
So
Yeah.
100 of
Hundreds
episodes.
is what I said. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
But I mean, Shippuden isn't hundreds either, is it?
I
Yes.
think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And it will be. But like Doctor Who, like there's S moments of Doctor Who, but there's a lot of that aren't. Black Mirror, there's S things that's S there, but some that aren't. Naruto, like I wouldn't quite put it in S, but I would gladly keep it in A. But if you guys are saying S, then I'm not going to be like, no.
I'll just say S for now then.
Yeah.
And see what I think when we get further.
I
into more
actually do
Shippuden.
quite like the strategy of like, this is what I feel now. Fuck you. Put it up in
Yeah,
S.
I mean,
I'll say yes.
and then
like,
we're gonna be ranking this thing like 6 times. So.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
if we had stopped at season 2 of Alien Force and ranked it then, we would have ranked it how we felt about it then, and then afterwards we would have ranked it then.
Yeah.
So I think this is appropriate.
It's what we did with Ben 10.
Well, it's.
Yeah.
I mean, it's.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We did that with Promised Neverland.
Sure.
What? We never finished it.
Well, yeah.
Could be good.
Like
We-
Calvin said, like we watched a season and then we stopped.
Oh. We'll just leave it there where we want it.
I just meant we paused and we ranked it, not like we just
I see.
completed, like never doing this again.
But yeah, I'll go S for me for this one.
So it's an S.
What did
for
you
me.
say? S. And then Eric, you want to leave it in A?
I leave it in. I mean, if we were doing just like the Pain arc, I'd be like, I'd put it up there with X-Men '97.
All
S
right.
plus.
So SSA, what's that do?
That's an S.
Does that
That's
put
an
it in
S.
S?
That's
That
it.
puts it in S for
Really
now.
an S.
Yes.
We'll revisit that next time.
Yeah.
on Naruto Shippuden.
Naruto Shippuden. All right. This one I believe is just going to be me and Calvin, and that is Reacher.
Yeah.
This is season 1 and 2 now of Reacher.
Yeah. Season 1 and 2. With us having watched a trailer for season 3,
Oh,
right?
I think that comes back in February.
Yeah, it's soon.
No, I don't know. I think I like season 1 a lot. Season 2 was fun to get. We got like more history, more
did.
backstory on a character.
Got
on
more
some
character
characters.
development and stuff.
The
more
like
history.
main bad guy was like a pretty good one. They chose a good
was.
actor to be that.
Really great. Yep.
Some of the action was pretty good, and some of the action was like all right. I
Sure.
think in it.
I think sometimes there were excuses for action when they're like for story didn't necessarily have to be,
Mhm.
but like just Alan
Yeah.
Richardson just stiff arm sweeping people's heads off is it's fun to watch.
I would say like I mean, given all the fun I have with it too, whatever little flaws it has here and there too, I still have fun with it.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think I'd move it from A right now.
I don't think I would move it from A. No.
So all right, so let's leave that one in A. We have a 3rd season coming out here in like a month.
Mm-hmm.
So
And we'll rank
At
it
least
again next time.
within the month. All right. Next up is Spy Family.
Ooh.
How much of Spy Family did we watch when we ranked it, and how much more did we have after?
I don't recall.
I don't recall either.
Must be a season, right?
We did watch a new season, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you've seen 2 seasons.
So, I mean, it's different than some other animes.
Mm-hmm.
I do like
That's a benefit.
I do like the family aspect of it, and
Yeah.
like there's like this weird. So this one has that like gotta keep this secret. I'm like, do we
Yeah.
gotta keep this secret? It's like, don't tell anybody the secret, and everyone's holding on to a secret. But it's also kind of fun that they do that too.
I mean, it
whereas
feels like
a lot of
it's like a
shows-
sitcom.
Sure,
regard.
Yeah.
but a lot of shows they do that, and it's like it gets kind of like
Yeah, sure.
just tell them already.
It
you know?
I
gets
don't
stale.
want
And
9.
even
yeah.
this, sometimes we do that too, where it's like,
Yeah.
just tell her and let her know.
I don't want 9 seasons of that.
Sure,
know?
Sure.
yeah.
Yeah, give me like I don't know, 4 seasons of the keeping secrets, or at least like most of them.
Yeah.
And then like give me where everybody knows everything and just go out on a bang, you know.
Mhm.
I think I personally was like between A and B last time, so as long as it stays in one of those, I'm perfectly fine.
I'm trying to remember what I ranked it as. We have it in A right now. I think for me, I'd probably give it. Yeah, I don't know. I'm at A or B. I think.
Yeah.
I think.
For you guys asking, you guys watched all of season 2 since the last re-ranking.
All
Yeah.
of season 2 since last re-ranking.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'd watched season 1 and then okay.
I've yet to watch season 2, but I will. But I did finish season 1.
Gotcha.
Gotcha.
And with that, it continues to be an A for me.
I think I'd probably say B, maybe.
Yeah.
I think.
Okay. I don't know. I really enjoyed the cruiser arc.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah,
a
that
lot
was
of fun. Just seeing more of the characters, like cat and mouse trying to keep secrets and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna leave it in an A personally. But I could be, my mind could be changed next season. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I ship Yor and Lloyd quite hard, so
I
if
do.
that ever progresses, I'll raise it up.
And
But
it's
not today.
I mean, it's at least an A for Anya's voice actor.
Yeah, her voice acting
Yeah.
is
So good.
An ooting.
I don't think there's any other show on this list that I've dressed up for Halloween as a character.
Oh yeah.
No, that's not true. I think I did do Jon Snow one year.
Gotcha.
You have at least been in a Jon Snow costume before.
I definitely have.
All right. So where are we at then? I said B.
I also said A or B. Calvin, where are you?
I'm an A.
Yeah, I mean nothing's changed. Leave it an A.
I'm also an
Well,
A.
Status
the whole
quo.
season has changed, but I agree. Leave it an A.
All right. So leaving it an A. Next up is just myself and Eric, it looks like, with Superman and Lois.
Oh. Superman
Which
and
is
Lois.
finished.
It
is
is now
finished
done. It is
and
now
had,
the
look at
last...
Jake. He already knows.
Oh yeah.
It has one of the best, not just CW shows or DC. It has one of the best finales of all time.
Just television show finales.
Especially knowing now that I know this show was kind of meant to go on for like 5 or 6 seasons.
Really?
And they, with James Gunn coming in, being like, hey, we're kind of changing things up. Let's kind of end some of this stuff. I think a lot of shows, when they hear that, like, hey, you have to end real quick, they kind of just like, all right, well, we'll wrap it up.
Let's wrap it up and throw something
We can't
together.
get to the things that we want to do. And instead, Superman and Lois did this thing where it's like, look, there's a lot of story you don't get to hear.
Yeah.
But
You're going to feel the journey.
you're going to feel the journey.
Right?
You're going to feel what it's like for that journey to end.
I think I know like a lot of people are like, oh, them CW superhero shows, they're this and that. I think Superman and Lois is like just on its own the best of them.
Yeah.
I think like beginning to end, it does the characters well.
Yeah.
It does the story well. The music's good. The action and effects are good.
Yeah.
Like all of it really hits really well. And for it being like also dealing with like family and kids and stuff, lots of times you have like, well, here's kids and it's going to be like annoying because there's kid actors or they got to add in some extra drama just to have drama. But I never felt like it was, here's these two people keeping a secret that they should just tell each other. You know what I mean? Like there's some CW shows that like do that a lot where it's like, just tell each other the secret and stop making it extra drama. And I never feel like this show does that. And I cried so much and I laughed so much and I enjoyed so much.
And to me, that's all the more impressive because despite being the most iconic superhero, I think he seems to be hard to do right.
Yeah.
I totally understand that because there's so many times that my opinion on Superman would be like, oh yeah, the invincible guy, what's gonna happen? Oh, he just punches it and he's done,
Yeah.
But like, I think Superman and Lois also does. My favorite season is Supergirl, which I think was probably the best season of Supergirl. Dealt with, here are things you can't just punch.
Yeah.
How do you fight this?
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think Superman and Lois deal with that as well. Like, sure, there's gonna be times when he has to fight something, but he also has to deal with like, well, how do I help? How do I help with this disease? Or how do I help with like Supergirl's thing was like racism.
How do I fix the Cold War?
Yeah, there's things like that where it's like, how does Superman deal with this stuff? And I loved it so much.
Yeah. I mean, these lists only mean something if they're personal. These rankings only mean something if they're personal. And like this show, it's weird. Like we talk about Superman a lot, sure. Like this has changed Lois Lane for me, this show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the show pretty much gave Superman and Lois my parents' life.
I get what you mean.
Yeah, and that ending, like, I said it in the finale, but, like, I can't believe it. Like, everything that they had Clark do at the end of that is exactly what my dad is doing right now. Down to the golden retriever. So it was, I have to reward that emotion that show gave me with an S, which I believe would make it the only Arrowverse show in S tier, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we're in Legends of Tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's how much I think that ending did for me.
Yeah. No, I think like I watched I didn't watch a lot of Smallville. I saw some of it.
Yeah.
I watched some of what was the one with what was his name? Dean Cain, The Adventures of Superman and
Lois and Clark. Yeah.
Lois and Clark. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I saw that and stuff too. Like I've seen a few Loises, but this Lois was like really good. The acting was great. Story was great.
Yeah.
I really don't have anything bad that I can be like I hated this.
No, not at all.
So I would put it in an S for Superman.
Yeah.
And the S in Lois.
For Hope. You dumbass.
You dumbass. It's not an S.
I was holding on to that.
No, I was just you just gave it to me again.
Oh,
But
that's funny.
I definitely think it belongs in S.
Yeah, same. Samesies.
And yeah, like I said, I loved Arrowverse.
Yep.
And there was so much of that, but I think just consistently over its 4 seasons, it always lands in an awesome 3-point.
Yep. And if you disagree, I don't care.
I don't care. All right. Next one is The Bad Batch. which
The
is
Bad Batch
which
finished
is
this
over.
year.
Ooh, it is over, but
Yeah.
man, we got some great stories
Oh
with it.
man. Yeah,
Where's
we did.
that currently? Are we still
Currently,
A?
It
it's
is currently
an
it's
A.
A,
Okay.
Yeah, that.
as
Okay.
as well as the other Star Wars animated shows.
Bad Batch.
Most of them,
I
anyway.
I think I keep it in A. For me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's the same.
Yep.
For me.
I mean, I love it, and it has Star Wars bias for me there, but
Mm.
I think I keep it in A.
Some really good crosshair stuff.
Another one of my favorite reactions of all time with the Zilla Beasts.
Ah,
I mean, that was just so amazing to be a part of.
Yeah.
Zillow. Dang, man. I get what you mean, though. I don't know. There was definitely some twists and stuff too. Some things where I'm like, but what? I don't know how this works and where do we go with this. And I'm waiting for answers, I suppose,
Yeah.
on that
Sure.
versus getting them.
I understand what you mean.
Yeah.
Like, where does this go from here?
Yeah, I guess leave it an A.
Yep.
I'm okay with that. Because I also, I think part of it, too, I think it's good, but I think it builds on a lot of what you have with Star Wars,
Yeah.
Mm.
right? So I think,
Sure.
if you were just hey, what should I start with? I probably wouldn't be start with Bad Batch. You know what I mean?
I agree.
Yeah.
So I think it's one of those things where it's well, you need some other Star Wars before you jump into this. So, that, as far as, just looking at it as a show, I'll go with A. Anyone against A?
I am totally okay with it being an A. I high A, low S for me. I really enjoyed this last season.
Yeah. I mean, I think the story they have is great, and I love the characters.
And even if they don't come back to the characters, I hope they continue to use that technology to make more shows.
Oh,
As-
absolutely.
Like towards the end,
Mhm.
it got really good.
Oh my God. Yeah, amazing.
It's the best that 3D animation
Yeah.
has looked, I think.
Yeah, the only thing that maybe keeps it from that, because I'm trying to remember everything of the final season, I have a really good grasp of it. There was one moment that I was like, I don't love this because it kind of devalued another thing I really love in this universe, and I've been told oh, we have an answer for that, but I don't have that answer, so I can't push it up.
Sure. It doesn't have to, pull away from
No,
that, though. You still
not at all.
have that when you
Yeah.
did
Absolutely.
it, you know?
Yeah.
All right. So we'll leave it an A?
A.
Is that
Sure.
where we're leaving it? All right. Another A, we have The Boys.
The boys.
Yeah.
Man.
I'm curious to hear this because I did not watch it.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's been really good, real crazy. It
Yeah.
just gets away with some crazy, crazy things.
It does do that.
But then also, while it's so ridiculous and crazy, there's sometimes it's just so real.
It's
and
too
I
real.
hate it.
It's the problem with satire that as you're doing satire and commentary on the real world, when the real world gets so crazy that the satire is hey, this isn't far off, you're you get uncomfortable, but it's still it's an incredibly well-made show that I think deserves its A status.
Yeah, it's shoot, I can't remember what it is, but there's a shot of someone running really fast.
Yeah.
And they turn their head and their competitors running by them really quickly. It's like that, but
Yeah.
front runner is satire and then reality is passing them.
Yeah. We had that crazy sheep scene in this season,
Yeah.
right? We had that.
Oh my God.
Sometimes it does. It'll sometimes it's visual effects. I'm like, it's a TV show. Sometimes it doesn't affect, and I don't understand how they pulled it off. There's one where a guy gets ripped in half this season, and I was convinced that's the best digital effect I've ever seen in my life. Turned out they just did it practically.
Yeah.
Not to say they ripped the guy in half. They built a guy and ripped him
They
in
built
half.
a guy that looked real.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's good to hear.
Yeah, it just continues to what's the right word? Impress me in that way.
I think I would just leave it an A.
Yeah, same.
I
Yeah.
think that's where I'd probably put it.
Mm-hmm.
I am very curious and interested to see where it goes, though. And
Oh,
what kinda-
definitely.
how the story plays out.
Me too.
All right. This is our last A one right now, which is The Legend of Vox Machina.
Yeah. That last season was real good.
This is the second season now, right? Is that right?
Third
season.
Third
Yeah.
season.
Third season.
So
Yeah.
I've got to revoke my ranking for this one too.
You're revoking. Jake, you're in because you've been watching the show with us. Also, the only one of us that has watched.
A decent amount of Critical Role.
Critical Role.
I mean, I really liked it. I liked the story we had. I also like the way they went with some stuff, with some characters, and me not knowing where it was gonna go. I was very curious on like, does this mean this, or does this, or are we gonna do this with this?
Yeah.
You know?
I absolutely loved what they did with Pike in that Hell episode, and I loved Scanlan stuff at the end.
Scanlan,
So-
Pike,
Yeah.
Percy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I like the Keyless stuff.
Yeah, Keyless.
That was pretty cool.
But yeah, the cleric
I think
crisis of faith stuff was so cool.
I think it's found more of its footing, a lot more than what it did like in season 1, and the growth of characters and some surprises and some nods towards things that happen in the thing.
Yep.
Like
Yeah.
you know, just
And
have
dude,
been really good.
They had that
hot tub.
giant kaiju fight.
Oh yeah,
And
kaiju
Rick,
fight.
this
That's
is
what
a
I meant.
spoiler. Someone does a kaiju does a stone cold stunner.
Yeah.
The kick and it was so cool.
on an ancient dragon.
Yes. Like a hell beast on an ancient dragon. It was so cool.
Yeah. Knowing that it's coming doesn't detract from the experience.
Yeah.
I think we watched it again afterwards.
Yeah, we did.
I think this is probably better than season 2. I think it's continuing to find its footing, like Aaron said. I think it's better. I don't think it moves it up for me. I think it's a solid A, but I think they're just getting better at doing the things they want to do. They're getting better at translating it into a TV show versus a long form D&D. I think they're getting better at writing and like balancing like the level of comedy, and they're doing a really good job of like actually becoming writers of TV themselves, because a couple of them wrote for the shows. But yeah, I think it stays in A for me.
Yeah. I think there actually is a bit of a pitfall when writers feel ownership of characters, and I think by nature of that show, they're going to feel a little bit of ownership of characters, but I haven't had any negative effects because of that.
Well,
personally.
yeah, it's different when you have like been inside that character's head and played that character for so long, and you just creating a character and putting it to a page. You know, I think there's a different mentality to being the caretaker of that entity.
Yeah.
So
Stays
with
an
that,
A?
everyone good with leaving it an A then? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. A it is. And with that, that's all of our rankings for the A's.
That's the A's.
Now we get into the B rankings.
Yes.
Things that we've finished or watched more of, which we're going to jump into Batman the Animated Series, which now we have finished all of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we did.
And even watched an extra movie.
We did.
Yep.
So
And we watched a crossover that's
We have
currently on early access
we have seen a crossover.
with Superman the Animated Series.
Indeed.
I mean, thinking about watching it, and being as excited as I was in like Superman when like, oh, this is what we're doing.
Yeah.
Just made me miss it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sure,
No,
I get you.
incredible.
Yeah. Like,
Incredible
oh, man.
amounts of missing.
It was
happened.
so much fun. I wish we had more.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's definitely. I didn't have it when I was a kid, but watching through it was a lot of fun. I love the stories. I love Kevin. Kevin's so good.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
One of the best things was like getting to see, and it's in the crossover more so, but him being Bruce and being Batman, and him being Bruce Wayne, and then he starts talking to someone who knows he's Batman, and he transitions into being a Batman voice was so cool to see.
So good.
And its subtlety, it's so perfect.
so classy.
Yeah, I mean, now that we've seen the entire thing, I think last time I hadn't seen some of the later episodes, and the later episodes were some of my least favorite of that show. But the first half or whatever it was, the 2 seasons before the new adventures of Batman, Robin,
Yeah.
Whatever it is. Yeah, I think last time I wanted to have an A and it's ended up in B. So I if you guys want to push up to A, I would.
Yeah, it's always been an A for me. And I mean, I don't know if you count it, but Mask of the Phantasm was this year too, right?
Was that this year? Might have been. Yeah, sure. I
I don't know if it
would
was this year or not.
not.
Or I should say
But
last year.
But it is a movie.
It's since last ranking,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right? Because we didn't do one of these in 2024.
I mean,
did
if we did a
2023.
movie ranking,
Yeah.
we would rank that on the movie thing, right?
We would.
So we probably wouldn't factor it in here, but in spirit, I would.
No, I mean, I was looking for a spot for it, and there's a perfect spot right below Barry
For
in
Batman?
A
Oh, for Bat.
for Batman.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I would put it in A.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
A for me.
I would do that.
serendipity. Put it in that spot.
A.
You can fit it.
Yeah.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Next, you gonna say something?
Go ahead.
Oh, next is gonna be Community in the rank of B.
Mm.
Yeah, we didn't have very much left.
You guys have
this.
seen more than I have now.
Seen all of it.
Yeah.
Sure, I get you. Okay.
Trying to think of where
It doesn't.
I sit after watching it all, and if it's any different than a B. I enjoyed a lot of the humor. There's definitely some stuff later on that like it just feels weird, and some of that's complications from behind the scenes stuff that
Yeah.
you don't really
not
know
knowing
about.
if they're getting picked back up, and then
Not knowing that,
scrambling, losing
actors
some
and
people.
stuff in the
Casting
background.
issues. Yeah.
Yeah, like all that kind of stuff. And it just kind of got weird, and then I wasn't sure of where a character ended up.
Yeah.
You know, like, well, what happened to them then, you know? Let's I think I'd leave it in B.
yeah, I think so.
I think it's pretty funny. I think I enjoyed it, but yeah, some of the stuff in the end is just like, man, I wish on a viewer perspective,
Yeah.
like if I had no idea of any of the behind the scenes stuff, I'm like, man, I wish it could hit these notes and
Sure.
do this stuff, you know?
Yeah, no, I agree. Like, it's got some really good high funny episodes. It's got great characters, great chemistry between those characters.
Mhm.
But yeah, some of the stories just were kind of meh. It did also just serve to push those really good episodes even higher, but for the most part, it's a B for me as well.
Okay. So as long as we're all good, we'll leave it in B. All right. Next up is going to be moving into Doctor Who.
Ooh.
Who?
Doctor Who.
Now,
So-
with this one, I'm trying to remember what we had seen as of 2023.
I believe it would have been
Everything with Jodie, right?
everything with Jodie
I believe so.
up until the shock of
Because that was in,
that cliffside.
yeah, right? In 2023, they kind of like, they're like rebranding, rebooting the franchise. But it's kind of like they have Classic Who, and then they have Doctor Who, and now they have the new Who.
Yeah. So I would say everything that I've watched since the last time we recorded it has been some of my favorite Doctor Who.
Yeah. I get
On
what
the
you
back of shooting.
Mm-hmm.
Like that guy is like my doctor. And it's so recent, you know?
Yeah, and the showrunner.
And the showrunner, sure, yeah.
Both of those factors, I think,
Yeah.
like massively impactful.
What I don't know. I don't know if you guys agree with this, but I would think that we take, like, if we were to watch all of Classic Who, would we rank that in its own section or leave it all within Doctor Who?
I don't know.
I
What
kind of
is it?
feel like we split it.
So
Like,
the idea is like
personally.
Doctor Who has, it's had a continuity
Yeah.
for quite some time, but there's technically, you could say Classic Who is its own show. Doctor Who, 2005? 2008, something like that. That's its own show. And then this new
think it's
Doctor
like
Who, 2023 on is
2005,
its
I
own
think.
show.
How's
The-
it done on the streaming services?
2005, yeah.
I think in the streaming services it is separate.
Well, it's separate because it's also on Disney Plus now.
That's true.
And
There's
then
licensing things.
IMDb has a new page for Classic Who. They have a new Who and then new Who. So like they have it separated. So part of me feels like if we were gonna watch Classic Who, we would rank Classic Who up until here's where that ends.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
we would do since 2005 when that started to here, and then I almost feel like we should have a new Who section for where we're going now since 2023.
I get what you mean. If
I
we were
agree.
keeping it all together, I would keep it where it is. If we were not, I would probably go to A.
I would probably put the current stuff with Nchuti into A.
Yeah.
And then everything else for old Doctor Who into B.
Yeah, I don't know. What do we do?
Well, if Jake can just do you have like another? Can you like mitosis that? Aha!
Hey.
Mitosis that. How appropriate, Aaron. Can you split that in half for us, please?
I'll
Because
have
I
to
do
get a new
think,
logo later, but for this,
Yeah, there's a
going.
new logo.
yeah, there is a new logo, I
Yeah.
do believe. But no, I think like Nchuti's stuff has been some of my favorite Doctor Who right now. Like it feels so refreshing from what we had in Jodie's.
Yeah.
There's some stories I really liked in Jodie's too.
Yeah.
I just never felt like Jodie got a chance to shine like some of the other doctors did.
Yeah.
There's moments that are my favorite with Smith, with Capaldi, with Tennant. You know, even Eccleston has like, he only had one season, but I think he still has like a moment to really shine too.
I feel like
I just never felt like I really hit that with Jodie.
I agree. I feel like all the doctors, I mean, Jodie included, all the doctors have a strength. I feel like Ncuti hasn't shown a weakness. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like he's
Well,
been all of it.
He's shown his strength by showing his weakness.
Yeah,
Right?
sure. No, yeah.
He
that's
made me get so emotional on a character dying that we just met.
just
Yeah.
met.
And he felt so like caring to that character, and I was like, "Oh man,
So
that makes me
moving.
I'm so sad for this guy." You know?
Fantastic.
He just acts so well with it. And I love it. I love it so
He's
much.
the doctor we need right now.
Yep.
All right, we'll leave it. We'll leave it at A then for that, and
that
old
goes
Doctor
to-
Who will go to B. I do believe. Melanie also said with Doctor Who, A. It's been very refreshing, and Ncuti has. It is amazing. His acting brings you in and makes you feel involved. The stories have been great too.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I love the one episode where like the doctor's not allowed to move for the entire episode.
Yeah.
And so much of Doctor Who is always like the doctor running and chasing him down and finding out what, and solving problems. And he's
That was,
stuck right here.
And like the stories that they're telling are like, like that one dealt with like dead internet in a way,
Yeah.
which like that hit me at a certain time where I was like, man, I just passed, like my mom's birthday and it shows me on Facebook. And then you do that thing where you're like, that sucks. And it like hit, like as that happened, that episode hit. So, what a great moment.
I think
What a great
doing this
episode.
kind of works too because it might be similar, but they're not changing the name as much as like doing like Naruto and then going into Shippuden, or doing Ben 10 and then going into Alien Force, then going like if it's all like, well, it's all one continuity, which is a lot of what I hear on a lot of these things. They're still being kind of split off and getting like a restart,
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what they're trying to do with this. And even if it's all one constant continuity, because even the first season went back to touch on some classic Doctor Who things, and you don't that's some deep pulls, but you're still kind of getting that reboot a little bit. So
Darkwing asked if you're including the 2 specials from DT and NPH in here.
Yeah.
I think that all goes in with the new series.
Yeah.
I would say because those were really good.
Mhm.
There were 3 specials for those. This also counts the other specials and the special we just watched. So
Yes.
all those specials I think go into this. All right.
I love that Doctor Who can time travel and he appears on the list twice.
It's just in a different
Yep.
branch of his timeline.
And regenerates, right?
And he regenerates.
Someone's saying this is very top heavy, but a lot of stuff I haven't seen so far. I do think that there's a lot of stuff we watch, and a lot of it that people want us to watch is their favorite stuff. And we tend to also enjoy some people's favorite things. And I think that's why
Yeah.
it's like we're not watching some of the
We don't get recommended this shit.
Unless you're me, your favorite things are not shit.
Yeah.
Yes. True. Next up, we have Invincible.
Yeah,
Invincible.
we did have the Invincible. Yeah, that was yeah. We have that in B?
We have Invincible
It's currently in B, yeah.
What do we had? 3 seasons? 2 seasons?
2 seasons.
been-
There
this
was
is
a
the-
This is
long
the second
wait
season.
between 1
yeah.
and 2.
Long wait. There was a
And there
bit of
was
a time.
a special with Eve, right?
Yeah, Adam Eve special,
Yeah.
which I also quite liked.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if we keep it in B, I'm okay, but I also wouldn't. It's not inappropriate to put an A for me. But I think I was an A, and I think it's ended up in B. But so yeah,
Mm.
I keep it in B. I really enjoy the show.
I do as well. I do enjoy it.
It had some really good twists.
It does. I like a lot of the twists and stuff with it too. I enjoyed the lizard army fight
Yeah.
and like the things they did with that and the conversations that we had after that episode.
Conversations.
Talking
Oh,
about like, well, what
yeah.
is this? And like, oh, like, and then we were arguing back and forth about that for a while, and we
Yeah.
get to a point and we're like, oh, so this is the answer. And
Yeah.
I don't know. I might put it in A. I think it has some like good. I think it has good voice acting.
Yeah.
I think it has good animation. I think I care about maybe not all the characters, but I care about some of the characters. I think some characters aren't necessarily there to be cared about.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
But no, I mean, I'm really curious on the next season to see like what we do with a couple characters, you know?
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd say A.
I would be comfortable with moving it up to A as well.
Move it to A.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I think it's like it's found its legs.
Mhm.
It's it's comfortable doing what it's doing.
Yeah.
And
And there's a
no, I like where the story looks like it's heading as well.
agreed,
The,
and that story is continuing in like 2 or 3 weeks, right?
Really?
Yeah, coming back soon.
There's so much coming back.
I
I
know.
think like in the next month or two.
Yep.
Yeah.
We fall into the thing where it's like we only have so much time and everything keeps coming back. So it's either like we catch things live or we try to catch up on them, and there's so many plates to spin.
Remember when there
guys.
used to be a TV season?
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. And we're like, okay, guys, let's do catch-up stuff, and then
we'd
make
be
sure
re-
that
yeah.
ends to do the TV season.
We would clear out the schedule and get
Yeah.
ready for the new TV season. Oh.
And now there's just things just show up whenever they want.
Now
Sometimes they
everything
tell
is
us.
just wrestling.
now,
Sometimes they don't tell us.
Yeah.
Like sometimes we know.
I feel like a
sometimes
lot
we
of
don't
times
know.
they just don't tell us. They want it to be a surprise, like we used to do with polls.
Sure. Yeah.
And we're like, damn you.
No. All right. So Invincible to the A.
to the A.
Yep.
All right. Revisiting.
It's okay. You can
There's
put it on
space
our
under
faces.
Rebels, Jake.
It's fine.
It'll fit there. In the middle.
He needs to reorganize them alphabetically too.
So that he can go in and do that.
I got you.
The newer stuff came, so like
And what's moved? Yeah.
newer things moving are on the right. Everything that hasn't moved is on the left. So I get you. Well, let's go to the next one, which is what if.
What if? What if season 3? Right.
Yep.
What if's an interesting show in that, like, when it first came out, I was like, oh, that's cool. It's going to be like this. But some of its focus went a different way, which was away from anthology. And I didn't love that as much. But it had one of the craziest, like, battles at a certain scale in the Marvel Universe I'd ever seen.
Yeah.
And I want to give it credit. And there's also a thing I want to talk about that it did, too, that I was like, I don't want to spoil it for people if they don't know.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
We're trying to avoid as much spoilers as we can, so we're talking.
Yeah, but it also had an
code.
episode that I was like, what are we doing? I don't understand why
I know-
this is
I know
this is one of your
exactly.
last episodes in your final
I
season.
know. That is such an important story, Eric. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'd keep it in B, but I don't think I'm gonna raise it.
There's a lot of things I really liked in What If.
Yeah.
There are some episodes that I don't, and I don't know if that has to do with some of the anthology aspects of things or some of the story they were wanting to tell. But yeah, I'd probably leave it in a B, I think.
I don't want it to go any lower, but I don't think it deserves to be among the higher classes, you know, or higher rankings rather. Yeah. No, it can just do whatever.
You can just stay there?
Yep.
All right, What If can stay there?
Stay there.
I need to ask, because I think this next one is a typo for Pokemon Generations.
There was no new of that.
There's no
supposed to
new
be-
Pokemon Generations.
Is it supposed to be Indigo?
I don't know if it's meant to be, Pokemon maybe?
Pokemon. You certainly have watched more Pokemon.
I have watched more Pokemon.
Yep.
I think we talked about that, though, because I don't think we had ranked it.
Yeah.
I do want to ask have we ranked since we finished Doom Patrol? Did we? I don't remember when that ended. I was just trying to remember that.
We have. You might be thinking of Umbrella Academy.
Umbrella Academy's on the list. No,
Yeah,
I was thinking
okay,
of Doom
gotcha.
Patrol.
I think Doom Patrol was done.
I was trying to remember when it ended because we didn't have one in 2024, and I can remember when Doom Patrol's last season
Yeah, I
happened.
think that's done.
Yeah, I'm looking right now. So the last Doom Patrol came out on November 9th, 2023.
Okay, November 9th?
Yeah.
Okay. So we would have just finished it,
Yeah.
and we would have probably done it in 2023 at the end of the year. So,
Mhm.
alrighty.
Gotcha.
All right. We are going to move then to Ruby.
Oh,
Ruby.
That was
So
this
sad.
year. Man.
so sad that
which we
we're at the end.
may have watched all of it now because
Yeah.
of Rooster
Yeah.
Teeth and everything happening.
Yeah. Okay. Ruby got bought by Viz Media.
By Viz. All right, so there's hope. I
so.
really liked this season. I thought it, Ruby is all about fairy tales.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that it utilized the idea of the fairy tale in a very good way in order to tell a story and to sort of hit upon the themes that this season was trying to hit upon.
Yeah.
I usually dislike it in shows when a team doesn't feel like a team,
Mm-hmm.
and the team was definitely fractured this season.
Yeah.
But I think there was good reasons for it,
Yeah,
Mhm.
it was earned.
and it allowed for character growth,
Mhm.
I think. So I quite like this season.
Agree with everything you said, Rick.
I'm just trying to think of if that moves it up or not.
See, I'm the other way. I didn't like this season as much, but not so much that it changes anything for me. So I would also keep it the same spot.
If I put it in A, will it come back?
I don't know. Call Viz Media.
I mean, I thought this season was fine. I didn't have any issues with it. I like the creative fairy tale aspect of it, but the whole time it was going on, I was like, oh man, I can't wait for us to get through this part so that when we get back, we're like united better, hopefully.
Yeah.
You know, and
Oh,
we,
yeah.
we get to this, and now I'm like, man, I don't know if we'll ever get it. So I'm
It's so
bummed by
sad,
that.
but I can't hold that against the show.
Sure.
Yeah.
I get what you mean.
So for me, I think I do rank it as an A. Ruby.
I think I'll leave it in B for me. I do enjoy it. I enjoy a lot of it. Just looking at the series as a whole, like especially early Ruby was so much fun and learning what was going on and the combat, the animation was so cool.
The magic system.
It loses a little bit of that at a point,
Yeah.
sadly, because but I think they were kind of getting back to some of the stuff I really liked with some of the combat aspects and stuff too.
We did get two characters revealing their feelings to each other.
Sure.
Mhm.
Oh
Finally.
man, I forgot about that
Yeah.
bridge. That bridge scene.
Yeah, the
huh?
bridge
That bridge scene was really good.
was good.
It was really good.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm between B and A. Like, I'm not necessarily against it in A. Calvin, Eric, what are you guys thinking? What are your thoughts?
I think I leave it in B. I mean, if it was just the Monty stuff that was the special sauce for me that takes something that I'm like, this is cool to like, this is freaking, I love this so much. I've yet to feel I've loved this so much feeling again. So I would keep it in B.
I don't know. I really enjoyed how much it changed. Just seeing these characters in a new environment, having to, act on their feet, and the way the environment was kind of familiar, but also like turned on its head a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was really interesting to explore that. I do kind of agree with Aaron. It did feel a bit like, all right, like I'm I like what's happening, but I want to see what happens after this more right now. No, I just
But I also think this season made whatever that was going to be better.
yeah. No, I mean, I definitely agree. Like, whatever was going to come after this season, like, this season would have elevated it. I hope we get more. A.
Kyle and I are A. Aaron was B. What were you, Eric?
B.
B.
I was AB.
If you're AB, we can move it down.
I go B and we do a poll to see chat, or I just say A and we just move it to A.
Oh, I'm AB negative.
Calvin, shut up.
Now I'm just confused.
All right, let's move it to A and hope it comes back.
Yes, we will hope. And that it came back because we put it in A.
Yes, I will
Aim that
take credit.
We will.
All right.
We have a hydrate also.
Hydrate.
Hydrate.
The Pokemon on the list was Ultimate Journeys.
Oh, yeah, that would be me and Jancy. I mean, to be fair, we only saw a little bit of the end.
And it also ended 11 months ago, but you guys filmed enough that it might have been done by
I
the time you
understand.
ranked.
I personally would be kind of uncomfortable ranking it just because I've only seen a small part of it.
Chancey didn't rank it in her message.
She did not.
Yeah, I had the wrong thing, so
Gotcha.
she didn't know to
Yeah.
Yeah.
put her thoughts down.
I
That's my
mean,
fault.
don't get me wrong. What I saw was incredibly fun. I also probably enjoyed it even more because I was reacting to it with Jancy. It does have, and everybody knows it, the golden thumbnail. There's an episode of that was like the best Pokemon thing I've ever seen ever, and I've seen some great Pokemon stuff. But again, I just don't know if it would be fair for me to put it on this list necessarily. I don't know. I mean, we reacted to it, sure, but only a small part. It will eventually get reacted to.
Gotcha.
If
All
Aaron's
right.
health holds out that long.
As long as Aaron household.
I'm getting there.
Is it currently?
It's
So it's
currently in
currently
B.
It's currently in B. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Sure. I don't know.
All right.
I can't remember what I said last time.
Well, it's in B.
It's in
So
B.
it must have been between you and Jancy.
Yeah.
A lot of people talking about things being so low, and I think people look at C and like, oh man, they hate it. And guys, C's doesn't mean we hate it.
No.
No.
C is technically like the middle of the road ranking.
Yeah. We just have a lot of S, A's, and B's of things because we think a lot of the things that we watch are usually a little bit more on the above average of shows.
They're quite good.
This is why ranking sucks.
E's and F's are the ones that you should avoid.
Or watch with friends with a drink.
Yeah. If we don't like it, look down there.
Or your choice of herbal.
And for me, D just means I feel like it was below average compared to like what other shows we've watched and what
Yeah.
other things that we could have done instead.
Like overall, Flash was a little bit below average. So was Willow.
Yeah, like
There's
Blood of Zeus isn't terrible.
no.
No, it's
It's not as good as. I mean, pick
Yeah.
any.
same.
Yeah.
same with
Hero-
Heroes
there.
Reborn was terrible.
Yeah, it was. That's why it's an F.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Inhumans was like I had fun watching with Eric, but it was not a good show.
Objectively,
Terrible.
it's a terrible
good
show.
Not a
It
good
was really bad.
Yeah.
Even if we had a lot of fun watching it and ripping
Yeah.
on it, and stuff like that. But anyway, I just want to
For
clarify
me,
that.
terrible for us.
Rick and I should go through that.
I keep seeing people when it's talking about chat and like they put this in C, and I just that doesn't mean it's bad.
Does Blood of Zeus have a season 2?
It does.
Does?
Yes.
Oh.
And Castlevania is another season we didn't do. Well,
Well, they have like a spin-off
it's a whole
season,
new
right?
show,
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
it's not like the same, but
It's the same continuity.
Yeah.
I think.
Okay.
I think it's like Shippuden to Naruto.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Interesting.
Okay.
All right, we're jumping into the C's. It looks like
Okie
with
dokie.
first one, Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Ugh, I
Which-
hate that this is in C.
I'm revoking my
You're recusing yourself.
yes.
Gotcha.
Because you guys have seen way more
Yeah.
with me than you have without me.
And last time I had seen way more than you guys had seen.
Yeah, sure.
We're
No.
into season 9 at this point.
we have watched, and these people are still terrible. I hate them.
They keep expecting them to
So
change.
I finally agree with Rick, and it's an F.
It's an F. Damn.
I mean, it does make me laugh a lot. I do cringe at some of the stuff. I think Eric enjoys when we have to
Well,
cringe.
you guys don't love cringe humor.
I don't think I've ever loved
Right?
cringe humor.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't like The Office as much, because
Sure.
like Michael Scott, I was just
I can only really watch cringe humor with other people when I
Yeah.
can, like the energy and the life force that is flushed from them by
Yeah.
force. I can take in, and I can recharge myself with their
Sure.
cringe. But yeah, it goes up.
I can't really watch like real stuff that's cringe, like real life, like this real high school girl was on stage and did this thing, and I'm so embarrassed for her.
Oh,
I can't watch
no.
that.
No,
But
that's
fictional stuff, I can watch cringe stuff all day. I love it.
no. The real stuff is where it's at.
Yeah, that's tough for me.
For Always Sunny, I think Danny DeVito's so good in it.
He's so good.
He does so much.
He does.
The last thing we watched with him was so ridiculous and great. So ridiculous and great.
Oh, it's so good.
There's a wrestler in it that you told me that is in it that makes me want to put it up a rank just because he's in it.
Roddy Piper.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, we've had him in 2 episodes now.
Indeed.
I definitely think I'm wanting to
Maniac.
move it up. I just don't know to where. So like it's easily into B. I just don't know how high I think I should put it.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Well,
Um,
other comedy shows, like how do you compare it to Brooklyn Nine-Nine, which is an A?
I really liked Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and I liked liking Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I hate the people in Community, or not Community, in Always Sunny.
Always Sunny.
Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
You're
I
thinking
hate-
of other comedy
yeah,
shows.
Yeah, no,
and
I'm thinking
B.
other comedy shows. I hate them, but also I love. Sometimes the things they do are just so good, and like because I hate them, it works. You know,
Like
It's a pure comedy. You're not there to empathize. You're there to laugh.
yeah,
it-
I guess
it
yeah.
gives
You
me
work on it.
comfort that they know each other and they mainly only interact with each other because only terrible people deserve terrible people.
I respect where the show will go for the joke.
It will go some pretty far places for the jokes. Let's do. I don't know. I'm gonna say B for now.
B.
I'm gonna put it there with Community, which I also really like Community.
Mm-hmm.
But we're only like I don't know, maybe halfway through the series, and I don't know where it goes and
barely.
ends with some of it.
Yeah.
And I'm sometimes concerned, and sometimes not.
Sure.
Do you think
So-
you'll like them by the end?
No.
I don't think I'm gonna like them by the end.
Okay.
That's not their goal.
I feel
No,
like the
I'm
show.
not saying it is.
I feel like the show just ends when they're dead. You know what I mean? Like these characters are just like, well, they're not there anymore, and we watch them just do these terrible things.
Once they've been removed from society, the show ends.
I think I like Brooklyn Nine-Nine maybe more,
Yeah.
maybe, but I'm not totally against it being an A either. But I definitely think I should put it up at least B. I don't know, Calvin. What do you think? Where are you? At
I'm
with stuff?
between A and B.
Okay.
From what we've seen so far, like there's definitely episodes that are better than others. My God. I don't know. I'm never worried that I'm gonna like be disappointed in watching an episode of Always Sunny.
What are you
I'll
I'll
laughing
just
at
be
over there?
disappointed
No,
in the characters.
there's just some Dennis moment that popped in my head.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
My tools.
my tools, my tools.
My tools.
Or like, I'm not sick. If I was sick, I'd say, "Sick is me on!" You know, like, what the hell? This guy, I don't know. He's just, it's that character that he is. It's just,
I just need to be pure.
like, he's just so ridiculous.
Oh my God.
Man, I don't know. Eric, I saw someone in chat say, like, is Eric ranking what we've seen or what he has seen?
I can only rank what I've seen.
Okay.
Like I can't remove it from my head.
You can't?
No.
Okay.
No.
Well, then.
I wouldn't care to.
All right.
I mean, it's an easy yes for me. For me, it's one of my favorite comedy shows of all time. I think it's one of the best, well-written comedy shows of all time, pure comedy shows of all time. And, yeah, nothing will change that for me.
Well-written, pure comedy shows of all
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, like,
Pure
the,
as
the,
in,
the
like,
Bear
there's
is a
no
comedy,
drama.
but, like, it's not. Like, it has a lot of stuff it's doing.
Yeah.
Like, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia is a comedy show and nothing else. And for me, it's one of the best.
Sure. It's not supposed to be about drama. Status quo's always there.
Yeah.
They're just telling the story of what this ridiculous adventure is and making you laugh along the way.
Yeah, I love watching the show, and I love hearing the people that made the show talk about creating it.
Mm-hmm.
I've never done that. I've never heard the people create it talk about it.
Sure.
Yeah, that's true.
I only pursue that whenever it's something that I already love, so I won't say it affected my ranking, but it certainly has affected my fandom of those people and their
Certainly.
very long-winded work.
All right.
So that probably
All right. Well, we can put it in A.
A is fair.
Okay. If you were going to rank it B, I was going to rank it A, and Eric,
has
of
an
course,
S.
was going to rank it S, so it was going to land in A.
So let's just
anyway,
put it
so.
into A, and we'll leave it there for now. How about that?
I like it in A.
Quite the jump.
All right. I don't see it on this list. You liar. If it's what I'm thinking of, I'll come back to it. Yeah, I'll come back to it.
Okay.
Next up is gonna be the Rings of Power.
Ooh.
Season 2.
We
is
ranked that
done.
at a C.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And season 2.
At the end of season 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed season 2.
Season 2 stepped up a lot.
Yeah.
Like, in terms of production and
Celebrimbor.
just everything, honestly. Like, the effects were fantastic.
Yeah. I'd move it up just for Celebrimbor alone. Yeah.
I loved what they did with the villain. I
Mhm.
love that first time we got to see them, like with the crown and all the,
Yeah.
Yep, stuff. Like that was great.
Yeah.
I love discussions with that because I just sometimes can't believe that Aaron is saying these names
I know.
and talking about these stories.
It is interesting because like it's not a thing that I really know a lot
Yeah.
about, but I do think I'm enjoying the Rings of Power. I don't know, maybe more than I enjoyed when I first watched Lord of the Rings. You know what I mean? Like I think I'm enjoying
Yeah.
the Rings of Power more with their story
you.
that's going through. But maybe it's also because it's like smaller chunks. And a lot of my Lord of the Rings watching wasn't necessarily all one watch through.
Yeah, and
Sure.
But it was on Stars all the time, and I would catch it.
you were also
Sure.
not really the biggest Lord of the Rings fan, right?
No, I wasn't familiar with it. It was just like the movies came out, they were on Stars, I watched them, and
Kind of like shows like this kind of have that like what's it called, the Dunning-Kruger effect, when you know more about something, like the less you like it or the less you I don't know what the exact Dunning-Kruger effect is, but putting it onto art, I feel like sometimes the more you know something, the more it has to like impress you or has to compete with memories you have that are like impossible to compete with.
Sure,
I don't
yeah.
feel like you have that.
No,
problem.
Lord of the Rings was never like when I watch Spider-Man, I'll think of like either Tobey Maguire or the 90s Spider-Man cartoon. Like those are what my mind jumps to first. And it has to like, I'll always be putting it like, how is it compared to these? Whereas Lord of the Rings doesn't really have that for me. I didn't read the books. I wasn't super into Lord of the Rings when I was younger. But the Rings of Power, like especially this season, I felt like I'm like, ooh, I love the dwarves here.
Yeah.
And it feels like watching like the prequels where I'm like, well, I know where things must go, but I don't want it to happen, you know? So no, I've really liked the Rings of Power. And looking at this, I'm like, why do we put it in the sea? You know? I don't know. This last season was so good. I love watching the Wanderer dude, the stranger, whatever he was called.
Yeah.
The
And
Grand
that
Elf.
and that new guy cooking and stuff in that little house. He was
Tom.
Tom.
Good old Tom.
great. So
Mary Tom.
Sounds like it goes up, but how?
I definitely
how
think it
much
goes
higher?
up. Celebrimbor, man.
Between A and B, myself. It's tough to know which one though, because it got real good.
A.
Yeah.
That's
I'll
where
go.
that's where I go. I think.
Seconded.
Maybe the reason I put in C, like after the first season, I don't know if I was like, oh man, I really want to see more. But I think after the second season, I was like, oh man, I do want to see more, and I was like even more invested than I was before.
I think it vastly improved from the last season to this one.
Oh yeah,
it did.
On almost every category.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree to that. I took Carmen through it. She loved it. She's like, when's the next season?
Yeah, and I think not knowing all the history and stuff like that has been a lot of fun. And then sometimes I learn some new things from you guys about things and stuff too, but it's been fun watching through.
Hey, my friend.
Hey.
Slap it on Calvin's face.
I'm okay with it.
I'm glad
Put it
we're
on
really
your dark
clearing out A.
Yeah. That's what you wanted,
right.
Jake.
You're welcome.
Next one we have is the Umbrella Academy.
The Umbrella Academy.
I'm gonna go the exact opposite of what I said from one season to another. Umbrella Academy final season was not it for me.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I think it was a show that when started, I kind of had high hopes for it, and I think with each season, I had less hopes.
Sure.
I don't know how to describe it. Like I'm trying to think of what seasons I really liked. The last one was okay, but it didn't nail things for me, I guess. I don't know. It might have been too everywhere.
It made some character decisions that I could not even begin to understand. So if I can't understand, what am I doing?
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I think I could understand some of that, but there was other stuff that I think that maybe you're not talking about that I didn't get either.
Okay.
So I'm on board with what you're saying, but I think
Sure.
with different characters.
Okay.
I think. But I don't want to go
Probably.
into it because I don't want to spoil anyone who
Sure.
hasn't seen it. But honestly, I think I want to move it down.
I
I think I want to put it in D.
I mean,
I
we
kinda
did
do
that for
too.
The Flash for its poor finale. Now The Flash went on a lot longer,
Yeah.
but it had a very poor finale.
What do we have? 4 or 5 seasons of Umbrella Academy?
Four total, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Have we moved anything down?
We moved
got
Ben
moved
10 down,
Yeah,
yeah.
you know, I mean, I feel the same way. It took a step back on some stuff that I did not enjoy. Umbrella Academy, I would put it on D.
I think I'd go D.
Feel
I don't
yeah.
know. Calvin, what are your thoughts?
I agree.
You agree?
No, yeah. I like some things that you guys had problems with, I didn't have as big a problems with, but then other things I did have a bigger problem with. I think there were certain character moments that were really fun. They were like good to see, like the character growing and evolving into a different person from what we saw in season 1.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think that made up for felt like everything that they were trying to cram into that season.
Yeah, I get what you mean. All right, we good with Umbrella Academy?
Yep.
So that was going
Down to a
D.
D.
All right. Let's do what Jake said and talk about Squid Game.
Yeah. Squid Game, we have begun on YouTube, but it should be finishing up on early access. We are done recording it.
Yeah.
The final this season. Did I get anything from Jan?
Yes, I have her. Thing.
Okay.
She says A, keeps you on your toes. Casting is perfect.
Yeah.
Storyline is intriguing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, very much so. The only real, and it's not even a real criticism, is just like, it kind of felt like some other shows that only do like, all right, we're doing 5 episodes, and then we'll do another 5 episodes later. It kind of felt like that for me a little bit. That's my only negative, which isn't really a negative because that's just release stuff.
Sure. Like the rate at which they release it should not necessarily influence your enjoyment of the episodes.
Like Attack on Titan, the way it did it, it didn't affect my ranking.
No.
It was
Sure.
just, it's funny to point out.
Does it affect your ranking with like Cobra Kai, something
No,
like that,
not at
that
all.
has the weird release
No.
schedule?
Yeah, I mean, I would rather it. I mean, I understand how, or decently understand how TV shows and stuff are made, how people have to stay on staff, how, actors are in contracts. You only have them for a certain amount of time. They got to be moving on to other projects. So release stuff doesn't really bother me too much. Squid Game. I mean, it doesn't. I like this season just as much as the first one.
Yeah. I think I would have a lot more issue with it if it felt like it was dragging its feet to make
Yeah.
up the episodes so that they could stretch out their planned
Yeah.
story for
It-
more episodes.
I
But
agree.
I don't feel that with this.
It lost a little bit of its like mystery feel, which I really enjoyed in season 1. But
Sure.
it made up for it in character work.
Made up for it in intrigue as well.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, why are they doing that? Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly.
Yeah. No, I think it moves up.
I think I go to A with it for me.
Yeah.
Just I think this season I've liked more. I like the last season. Last season was pretty good.
Yeah.
This season I've been. I guess intrigue is a good word for it. I've been more intrigued, and it's building on what it set up before,
Mm-hmm.
and just the the cost of one person becoming richer at the expense of others.
Yeah.
And just building on that. And I don't know. I really liked its story and its theme, I guess. So I think A is good for it.
Yep.
There you go.
All right.
Next year, just have half of the screen be A. I get you.
All right. As of right now, this looks like the last one for re-ranks of shows that we've seen more of.
Alrighty.
Good that it's in alphabetical order.
And then after that, I guess we can also go through and see if there's anything else on the list that maybe our minds are a little different on, or anything that we want to kind of like look at and change around a bit. But this one is going to Vinland Saga, which
the
we've
new
watched
season of Vinland Saga.
season 2.
We're already over time, so we're gonna have to come back.
We'll do
Oh,
that
you're
next
right.
year.
All right, so next month, because next week is going to be Blanca
Next
Gong.
month, yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining us. No, we better do this one.
Don't leave.
All right.
I can get mine done real quick. I actually quite liked the first season of Vinland Saga and had it ranked higher, so I would continue to rank it high with this new season and have it in a low A.
Okay. I think like in the first season, for me, I think the best thing I didn't love the character, like our main character. Some of the best things about it was the fights that it had.
Yeah.
And this newest season had like none of that at all.
Mm-hmm.
No fights.
Barely
And-
any. Yeah. Not like season 1 fights.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Like there's barely any. What was his name? I want to say Torkel. Is that right?
Thorfinn?
No, the big guy.
Thorkill.
Thorkill,
Thorkill.
yeah.
I said Torkel. That's a Pokemon.
You fool.
And like just not having any of that was better than anything season 1 did. I think that having season 1
I gotta disagree with anything season 1 did.
I think everything season 2 did, because of what I didn't like about season 1, hit me so much better for season 2.
Sure.
And I love the way the character went, to where it's such a drastic difference from the vengeance story that he was having and the reasons I didn't like him, to him changing into what he is now. And I really enjoyed that. I like that he doesn't want to fight.
Yeah.
I like that he has more of his dad's perspective than he used to.
Yeah.
And I feel like I feel the earning of that more so because of what he did in season 1, because I was like, you stupid
Yeah.
kid. He's so annoying. I
Why
don't
aren't
like
you
him at
thinking
all.
like
I don't
me
want
with a
this
fully
at all.
developed brain?
Yeah. And his journey leads him into this, and I enjoyed that so much more. And I think my dislike of season 1 made season 2 so good, and then thus capitalizes on the fact that, well, we must have this journey through season 1 to get season 2 to work for me.
No, I agree. I agree with all that. I do think like a character from season 1 that we got for a little bit in season 2 in a nightmare scene, like that whole thing was incredible.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved all of that. But yes, it's better.
It's better.
Season 2 was so much better for me.
Does anyone think it's not better?
It's definitely better. No.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to condense my thoughts down quickly because I have a lot to say.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I did not go back and rewatch season 1, but I did go and read the manga from start to finish, and The anime is actually quite close. More rape in the manga. But I think that Vinland Saga is a question. It is about, is there a place for violence in the world? And I think season 1 is... I feel like the characters only exist in season 1 to be aspects of that question. And it doesn't do a great job of making them characters. I think Askeladd is the best of those, but we don't really get to see him as a character until very late into season 1 because he's really hiding his intentions from everyone, including the audience.
Sure.
Season 2 is really, in a lot of ways, just a repeat of season 1, but it does it with fleshed out characters rather than just as more of a parable. And so I think season 2 succeeds wonderfully at what it's trying to do. I'm not sure how I would fix season 1, if it just needs to be shorter or if it would be better to like focus on another character. I kind of thought about like, what if you focused on Old Man Kettle a little more in season 1 or something like that. I thought it could be kind of interesting. But for me, I think season 2 is an S. But I think the show itself ends up in A as a whole.
Okay. Trying to think of where I place it with everything. 'Cause like I said, season 1 was not my favorite either, but I feel like what I got out of season 2 is built upon season 1.
Sure.
I didn't feel like it was the same story. I think it's a shift in the main character's goals and journey.
Yeah. I think you don't get the feeling of that shift unless you like embrace season 1 a little bit, like we didn't like it, but the things about it that we didn't like were the things that season 2 like really hung a lantern on and really addressed like what the character wants to do rather than just being driven by emotion,
Like Thorfinn isn't really a character in season 1. He's a personification of revenge.
Of rage
Sure.
and revenge, yeah.
And so like season 1 didn't really have any like central thing to be tied to other than the theme.
I can't interject. We'll be here all day. I have lots of thoughts, but they're not necessarily appropriate for a ranking podcast.
I mean, I do think that that's part of why I don't like season 1 as much is because of the main character. I mean, I guess he's the main character. It's supposed to be focused on him, but I find that like Askeladd is like almost more of a main character than I don't know.
Like
But
as a whole, it's focused on that question of is there a place for violence in the world? I think, and like everything is just built around that. Like to me, it really feels like the author had that in mind, and then later wrote the story with the characters. Is what it feels like to me.
sounds like a Vinland Saga podcast is needed.
Oh, we could do it for hours.
Maybe.
I think I would go with A. I think. Just the character development throughout the 2 seasons that we end up with, I like a lot. And I think where we end in the end of season 2 was I don't know if good is the right thing, but I liked where we went.
Earned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll go with A.
Okay. Yeah, I'm for an A as well. I think I ranked it pretty high last time as well. And I don't think that because I liked season 2 much more than season 1. Like I feel like season 2 drags season 1 along with it, and it's not that it. I don't know. It's difficult to say what I'm thinking in my mind. It's not that it makes it so much better. It's just the other side of the same coin, if that makes sense to me. So I think it still stays an A for me.
Also, Ocean OP is real good.
Somewhere in the ocean.
Yeah,
Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, it is.
it's real good.
I personally like the other ones too, but you said nothing wrong about that one.
So Eric, you're A.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
A.
Hey,
I think it's the highest change.
it's always
From
sunny.
C
Always
to
Sunny
A,
and-
yeah, they were both.
And Rings of Power. I guess those are all C's,
Oh,
weren't
Rick,
they?
But I
go.
think
Oh no.
Almost everything went down to D.
All right. Well, then before we wrap up with some of these re-rankings, is there anything that's on the list that we haven't re-ranked that we need to revisit, or anyone feels that we should revisit? Or are we good with where things lie presently? And thus we revisit it the next time we do one of these big ones.
I've
I don't think
recently
I've rewatched anything.
I've recently been rewatching like basically all of the MCU post Endgame with Carmen, and we rewatched She-Hulk, and I think it deserves to be an A. I really enjoyed it the second time through.
Gotcha.
That's the one that sticks out to me the most.
I mean, Berserk obviously still sticks out to me. Like, it does what Vinland does better.
It asks if violence belongs in the world.
Along with many other things.
It's Berserk's only problem is that it didn't continue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought I liked the TV show, and then I read the manga, and I was like, oh my god.
I think it's
Oh my god.
I think its problem
best
is
stories
that
ever
it was made as an advertisement, you know? Versus
But I
like-
also listen to the music all the time.
Fantastic.
I don't know if there's anything specifically that I really feel I need to move right now. I just wanted to make sure that we kind of took a little look at things and stuff.
Oh yes, Black Mirror. We watched a couple episodes this year. How many did we watch? 3 or 4? 4.
Yeah, 4 of them. We didn't even finish the season.
Yeah, we didn't finish
Yeah.
the season. It's so difficult to rank too. It's an anthology show, and it's not like What If. It's like a true anthology show.
Yeah.
Loving a new thing doesn't affect how I felt about a previous character and his arc or anything like that. Nothing changed for me, so I don't know what to say even with Black Mirror.
Like if we were gonna rank it, like we would objectively have to divide it by each individual episode and rank those.
You know, like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is an S. It's top left, you know? And that show, I love every second of it. But when I was watching the first season, there were things where I'm like, I don't know what's going on here, you know? But once things, I can now go back and watch it and bring all this luggage with me. Can't do that for Black Mirror. You know? It just is what it is. So, I'm not sure.
Okay. I mean, leaving it there for now. Maybe if we can finish the other seasons, some more of it. There's still more of it that we can do.
Mm-hmm.
There's still more. I don't know. There's more Young Justice. There's more. I don't know. There's more of a lot of these, and there's none of some of the others. So,
Yeah.
I think that's something that we can revisit in the future too with some of that. Otherwise, I don't know. I guess I don't have anything else to move. I don't think.
I don't think so. I'll be releasing my personal tier list today over on my social medias, Archmaster7. So if you're curious to see those.
Yes. Also, guys, if there are shows either continuing or new, make sure you guys go to our website and update your recommendations. All you have to do is just have a login. You don't have to be on Beyond or a patron or any of that kind of stuff.
Yep.
And you can just update there's 3 for shows that you would love to see and 3 for movies that you would love to see. Just update those, and we use those a lot to help us decide on things to pick up or polls and what goes on polls. So, yes, please make sure you do that.
We had a ton of new stuff that we added this year. I imagine we'll have a ton of new stuff that we add next year.
Yep.
And maybe we can do some movie rankings.
Ooh. Wouldn't that take forever?
That'd be fun, Eric. It'd be fun.
Hundreds of movies that
Quite a few.
that demand to be compared to each other.
They apparently do.
They
So,
demand it.
I mean, we got hundreds of shows. We can do hundreds of movies.
I disputed that.
Not in one day.
So, guys, our next podcast is going to be Badunkadonk, and then we'll be back with some Blind Way podcast. I believe during that one in the beginning of February, I saw someone ask the hint hunt we can explain in the beginning of February if you're curious on how the hint hunt was supposed to work on the last one.
Yep.
Rick's usually pretty good at telling you what you didn't do or did do.
Mm-hmm.
So,
You did this wrong.
You definitely want to check that out because it's hilarious.
So, all right. I think that's everything then, guys. So, join us next week for more Star Wars Badunkadonk. We're going to be talking about that. And tomorrow, I believe, is a group stream with Chained Together. I think our goal is to try to actually finish and beat Chained Together.
Bam!
A world, at
And
least.
then
I believe in us.
Monday, I'll be back with Dark Souls 3. I didn't die much last time,
Yes.
but I ran away from the one boss that I
gonna
didn't
make
beat
up for it this
before,
time.
So we'll see what happens.
Yay.
So join me. It was a lot of fun talking with people during that stream. So hope to see you guys there on Monday.
Oh, Aaron, I wanted to say also, make sure for your Monday stream that you have your Breen screen behind you.
Calvin. Shh. Done.
Thank you, Calvin.